This is another Airsoft Mike production.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. You know me, I love an historical weapon. This is the Golden Eagle Nambu Type 96 LMG.
The Golden Eagle Type 96 LMG replicates the Nambu Type 96, the standard light machine gun of the Imperial Japanese Army throughout most of World War II. The Type 96 entered service with the Imperial Japanese Army in 1936 and was designed by Kijiro Nambu, a former career officer and founder of the Nambu Arms Manufacturing Company. This platform has made appearances in video games, TV shows, and movies. Let's see how this airsoft nod to this historical piece holds up.
Oh wow. I tell you what, my oh wows that I do in my videos, they're genuine. Because, would you look at this beauty? So, what do we get in the box? We get an instruction manual, a huge 700 round mag, a cheeky little bag of BBs, a cleaning and unjamming rod, and of course, this epic looking Golden Eagle Nambu Type 96 LMG. Doesn't that look epic? Right now, wait. Elephant in the room. Look. What does that look like? Yes, it is the shape cutout of what should have been the trumpet style flash hider. But as you can see there, this model didn't come with one. It's almost as if they're teasing you to say, haha, look at what you could have had. So a quick heads up. No, they didn't forget to put it in here. No, it isn't on the front. It physically could not fit on the front because the front of that barrel goes all the way there. Basically, if you go online, you will find that the majority of airsoft retailers will have this one in stock that doesn't have that flash hider. And if you're thinking, oh man, that's poor, that's a poor show there, because, well, no, don't think that, because if you go on to Forgotten Weapons, where he has the real version, it also doesn't have that trumpet style flash hider. So don't feel put out by it, okay? So I must say though, I have spotted something that this version has that the ZB26, another similar platform that I featured on my channel a couple of weeks ago, doesn't have. What an absolute stunner this is. And what I love about this straight away is that it's full metal, and where it's not metal, it's real wood. So you've got a very nice looking wooden stock right there, and on the back you have a metal butt plate where you will find a screw on the top and beneath. And if I take you just back at the top here, you can see there they carelessly slipped with the screwdriver at the factory. And I know it's not the retailer because this wasn't bought from a retailer or a private person. Let me just tell you this, I've taken this epic looking mag out, and here I can show you what this awesome looking full metal butt plate looks like. Nice. And right in there is where you pop your battery. Let me just pull out the cable. There you go. I thought it would have been a bit more room, but it's testimony to the thickness of this stock. Real wood. Nice. Now, before I put the battery in, let me just make sure it's on safe. Slight problem. I don't speak Japanese. Hold on. Okay, so when the lever is thrown upwards, safe on. When it's down, horizontal, safe off. Nice. Okay, 3, 2, 1, take 2. I'm going to do this bit again and leave out the bit where I'm showing the manual and make it look like I speak Japanese or read Japanese. Ready? Okay, fire selector switch, take 2. So, as I speak Japanese fluently and read it very well, that's safe and that's fire. Well, at least it symbolises safe and that symbolises fire. Bruh. Battery on and in. Right, let's just do a quick test. Ooh, she sounds nice. So, complementing this nice wooden stock, you have this beautiful wooden grip, and I'm loving the serrations you've got going on there. And how the grip hugs that metal trigger guard, nice. And interestingly enough, down there's a cutout, and the trigger almost is going through that cutout. It is so long. I can just about move that trigger. Not enough to fire it though. So that trigger guard really is doing its job, guarding the trigger, despite the cutout. Now, so, this right here, this sort of drum wheel right here, is used to raise or lower the rear sight. Now remember, I was complaining about the ZB26 because it lacked a little window where it had numbers. It's got it on this one. Nice. Remember I said I love the ZB26 because of how it's very busy, there's lots of things to move that replicates the real thing, even though one or two of them were mock. It's the same as this, the Nambu 96. It's possibly even more involved on this version because if you look right here, just like on its real counterpart, that's your takedown lever. So you would literally pull and swing it up. Nice. Oh, and by the way, when you do put it back onto safe, it's got a nice trigger lock. So it literally blocks it from being pulled back. Right now, so when you're a collector like me and you've got tons of these things, you begin to realise that sometimes airsoft manufacturers will stop doing a certain thing or do something slightly different as the years goes on the same exact platform. So for example, on this version, here's your massive charging handle, which looks awesome, but on this version, doesn't do anything, it can't move. Yet, if you go to certain airsoft retailers' sites, the same exact model, the mock charging handle will move back. However, all is not lost. There's a little mod that you can do so you can release that up. And just underneath that charging handle, look, there's another door. And loving the attention to detail on the bottom of the gas tube. And again, replicating its real counterpart, we come to this section right here. So, behind here would be the real ejection mechanism, okay? So on the real version, you can gain access to that and everything. On this version, obviously there's no ejection mechanism there. However, there's a little button just there on the top. If you push that down, you can open it up. Nice. Do you see what I mean when I say it's busy? I love all these bits you can do to it. Very good replica so far. And then we get to the part that makes this so unique to me. This has to be one of the biggest mag releases I've ever seen in my life. Good grief. Awesome. And then of course in front of that, that's where you put your mag. Oh, you have no idea how satisfying that is. Right, so as we continue with the busyness of this platform, you have this awesome looking real wood handle. Of course, inside and everything else is metal. And what I love about this section here is steel. You've got another lever here, and you would use that lever if you wanted to take out the barrel, just like its real counterpart. So you would again pull and push up like that and remove it completely, and that will release your barrel. Awesome. But I'm not going to do that just now. Now the real world application of that is so that you can swap out a very hot barrel. Now in Airsoft, we're not going to have a hot barrel. But if you wanted to do some maintenance or reenactments, yeah, that's cool that this can do that. And I must say, of all the Airsoft carry handles on the various Airsoft platforms that I own, this one is the one I am most comfortable and confident with. Because it feels sturdy, it feels strong, and it doesn't look flimsy. Nice. And just like the ZB26, you've got a finned outer barrel there, which would help with the cooling. In the real world, another interesting feature on this Airsoft platform is that you've got this very nice looking strong bipod, and you can see these notches there. You can actually swing that bipod and lock it into place depending on what sort of elevation you want your barrel to be at. For example, you would pull this down and then look. You can lock it into place. Nice. But let's get it back to where it was before. Decent. And of course, when you're not using it, and that's what I love about this, sometimes you get some airsoft platforms that I've featured recently where you want to fold the bipod up, but there's nothing locking it into place. You can see there's a couple of notches there that will keep it into place when not deployed. Okay, as we continue, you've got your lug, you've got your regulator right there. So that's your gas regulator on the real thing. And then, of course, on this airsoft version, your mock gas tube. But let's get right back to here where you have your awesome looking front sight, which of course is offset to the left because you can't have it centered because of the mag. And that front sight lines up nicely with the rear sight. Okay, I think it's about time we turned it around to the other side. Again, no issues with this handle. Awesome. You have your rear swivel sling point. Hold on. Nice. And then of course you've got the top section of that dust cover for when you've not got the mag in. Just as important in airsoft as it is in the real world, because you don't want anything getting in there where the BBs are fed when the mag isn't in. And then below that there is another cover. Hold on, let me get the mag out. And again, the mag release is ambidextrous. How could it not be, being this big and being center? So, real world application, this will be your ejection port. However, this being airsoft and an AEG, look, there's your hop-up adjustment, which you can access obviously right there, but also from the top. Look. And thank goodness Golden Eagle has retained some of the markings that you would find on the real version. So right there you have your front sling point. And of course I've already spoken about the front here at the top of the video. This looks like to the naked eye to be a counterclockwise thread. There's no way on God's green earth is this a 14mm. I don't know what it is. I can't find any information on it. But one thing I will say, because you know I like to keep it real with you, and I'm sure if I look into it properly, I can tighten it up. But out of the box, a little bit wobbly. Of course, the main barrel is solid, but this, yeah, no. Oh, and make sure your handle is tight. Okay, I can't delay any longer. Let's get the mag ready. Now, as I mentioned, 700 rounds. And it's a flash mag. I've got to say, this is why airsoft can be frustrating sometimes, but I still love it. The manual says this is a 90 round mag, and that you're supposed to fill it from the top and then pull this little string a few times. However, you go on certain websites, it says this is a 700 or 600 round mag, and you fill the BBs up from the base, because look at all that space, and then you pull the string a few times. And you give it that a few times. But let me just hold that door. That sounds right. And there, look. The BBs are fed to the top. Right, so let's just make sure it works. I've got my iPro on. Yeah, baby, look. Nice. Right, so its real counterpart only has safe and full auto. And so does this. So this replicates that nicely. I'll try and do a single shot. Probably not going to happen. Yeah, it does happen. Nice. Oh, there's a double one. I was going to say, it's a lot easier to just let off a single BB than the ZB26. Because it is this, anyway, and the ZB26 are full auto only, even though the ZB26 is not supposed to be full auto only. But anyway, this is not about that. This is about this Nambu Type 96. And as you can see there, we're getting readings just over 300. Let's have a look at the average. Yeah, 311. I won't cut the camera, I'll just go straight to it from here so you can see we're getting around 12 rounds per second. Oh, hell yeah! I love the smell of fresh BBs in the morning. So there you go, people. This is the Golden Eagle Nambu Type 96 LMG. And I love it. This thing is epic. Now, it's got a nice little weight to it, but it's not overly heavy. What have I got here? I think I've got the weight here somewhere. Yeah, 6.5 kilograms. That's very manageable. And I will say this, just a little tip. If you're going to grab yourself one of these, okay? Okay. Double check what type of magazine you're going to get with it, because you can get high caps. Clearly this is a high cap. And clearly this manual only refers to the magazine that you have to fill from the top. And it doesn't even mention anything about the flash side of things. So, yeah, that's a high cap mag. And as you just saw there, by the way, it's still got a lot of BBs in there. So what you would have to do is open up the top, preferably just take the mag off, but open up the top, pull that string a few more times, close it up, and you're good to go again. And believe it or not, that's quicker than the wheel. And just in case you were wondering, I was using a 7.4 LiPo. Now, just before I go, have you noticed there was no Airsoft mic light box? Well, one, this is too big, so I couldn't fit it on there. So I thought to myself, how can I troubleshoot that? There's my original large one. And look, I've now got a smaller one. But it doesn't stop there. Aww. Haha, look, I've got a little baby one. Nice.